5 new Star Trek releases ended without answering big mysteries that may never get solved. 4 Star Trek series and the newest Star Trek movie have ended with open questions that may not be resolved and hint at new voyages that audiences may not see. On Paramount Plus, Star Trek Picard wrapped after 3 seasons in 2023. In 2024, both Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Lower Decks closed out with Season 5. Meanwhile, Star Trek Prodigy Season 2 premiered on Netflix in July 2024, but the streamer has offered no update on renewing the beloved CGI animated series, effectively ending the series for the time being. Star Trek Discovery's launch in 2017 spawned an epic Star Trek renaissance on Paramount Plus and Netflix that is still going strong, albeit more streamlined. In 2022, Paramount Plus boasted a new episode of 5 Star Trek series premiering almost every Thursday. Even without Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Discovery, and Star Trek Lower Decks, Paramount Plus delivered its first Star Trek streaming movie, Star Trek Section 31, in 2025. While Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Starfleet Academy continue the franchise on Paramount Plus, every other Star Trek of this current era has bowed out with a cliffhanger or set up for a new mission that is left to audiences' imaginations. Star Trek Picard ended with Q's return cliffhanger. Star Trek Picard Season 3 ended with 2 intriguing setups that build toward a continuation dubbed Star Trek Legacy. Picard Season 3's final image is of Q John Delancey somehow back from the dead. The omnipotent trickster has transferred his attention to Ensign Jack Crusher Ed Spaliers, the son of Admiral Jean-Luc Picard Patrick Stewart. Meanwhile, Captain 7 of 9 Jerry Ryan and her first officer, Commander Raffi Musiker Michelle Hurd, launched the new USS Enterprise G, which has been renamed from the USS Titan A. Paramount Plus never announced or moved forward with Star Trek Legacy despite Star Trek Picard Season 3's setup. Regardless of continuous fan desire and the thumbs up of Star Trek Picard's creative team and actors, there's been no movement on a Star Trek Legacy TV series actually happening. Star Trek Legacy becoming a Star Trek streaming movie also hasn't been acknowledged by Paramount Plus. The continuing voyages of the USS Enterprise G and Q's intentions for Jack Crusher remain a pie-in-the-sky dream for fans. Star Trek Discovery Season 5 has 2 endings: the original setup for Star Trek Discovery Season 6 and an epilogue set 30 years later that was added when Paramount Plus announced Season 5 was Discovery's final season. Discovery Season 5's original ending was the wedding of Ambassador Saru Doug Jones and President Trina Tara Rosling, where Captain Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, and Cleveland Booker David Ajala rekindled their romance. The USS Discovery then jumped to a mysterious new mission. Star Trek Discovery's finale epilogue then warped forward 30 years to show Admiral Michael Burnham send the USS Discovery to its final destiny, which leads into the Star Trek Short Treks episode Calypso. Picking up 1,000 years into the distant future, Calypso tells of how Discovery's sentient AI, Zora Annabelle Wallace, meets and falls in love with a soldier named Kraft Aldous Hodge. What happens next to the USS Discovery after Calypso may never be known. Star Trek Prodigy set up the future of the USS Prodigy. Star Trek Prodigy Season 2's ending ingeniously ties into the backstory of Star Trek Picard Season 1. After helping the traveler Wesley Crusher Will Wheaton save the multiverse, the young crew of the USS Protostar returned to Starfleet Academy as heroes. But on First Contact Day 2385, Mars is attacked by rogue synthetics, killing 92,000 souls and destroying a new armada built at the Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards. The Mars attack of 2385 is a crippling blow to Starfleet that forces the United Federation of Planets to retreat within its borders. The Star Trek universe is vast, intricate, and overflowing with possibility, one of the many reasons it has endured for nearly 6 decades. But as new shows continue to warp into our lives faster than a shuttle leaving space dock, something else has become clear: not every mystery gets a resolution. In fact, several recent Star Trek entries have boldly introduced questions they never bothered to answer, leaving fans adrift in speculation, fan theories, and heated Reddit debates. From time travel paradoxes to long-forgotten characters, Here are 5 Star Trek mysteries from recent shows that ended without closure and may never get one. 1. The Burn's True Origin, Star Trek, Discovery Season 3. In Discovery's 3rd season, the mysterious cataclysm known as the Burn wiped out most of the galaxy's dilithium, crippling warp travel and fracturing the Federation. For much of the season, it was teased as a universe-defining event, perhaps engineered, perhaps natural, possibly the result of political sabotage. But the final answer? A Kelpian child named Sukal, born in a dilithium-rich nebula, unknowingly triggered the disaster through an emotional outburst linked to his unique DNA and psychic imprint. Fans were confused. The idea was ambitious, sure, but the explanation felt more mythological than scientific, and far too disconnected from the series' grander setup. Even now, many viewers believe there's more to the Burn than what we were told, but with Discovery ending, that deeper explanation may be lost in space. 2. What was the deal with the temporal wars? Star Trek, Discovery, and Picard. Both Discovery and Picard have repeatedly name-dropped the mysterious temporal wars, a massive conflict fought across time that left behind banned technologies and scarred timelines. It's the kind of lore goldmine fans love: time travel, shadow factions, and infinite narrative potential. And yet, it's barely explored. We hear the temporal wars led to severe laws against time manipulation. We even see some of its effects in 32nd Century Discovery. But the who, what, and why? Left frustratingly vague. Was Daniels from Enterprise involved? Did Section 31 have a role? Did the Romulans exploit it? We'll likely never know. Despite its tantalizing premise, the temporal wars remains one of the most underexplored pieces of modern Trek mythology. 3. The Borg Queen's Real Plan, Star Trek, Picard Season 2. Season 2 of Picard leaned heavily into time travel, alternate futures, and the return of the Borg Queen, one of Star Trek's most chilling antagonists. But this was no ordinary queen. This version teamed up with Agnes Jurati, eventually merging into a new entity that promised a more cooperative, benevolent Borg collective. Or did she? The season ends with this new Jurati queen forming a mysterious alliance with the Federation, guarding a space-time rift of unknown origin. The implications? Massive. The details? Non-existent. Season 3 of Picard barely referenced her at all, choosing instead to go full nostalgia with the TNG crew. So what happened to the new Borg? What's their purpose now? Were they ever truly benevolent? That question may never be answered, and honestly, it might be more terrifying that way. 4. What was Laris's true role? Star Trek, Picard Season 3. Orla Brady's Laris began as a simple Romulan housekeeper and caretaker in Picard Season 1, but her character grew increasingly enigmatic. She showed hints of a past with tall Shire connections, a deep loyalty to Jean-Luc, and skills well beyond her job description. By Season 3, she was given even more focus, only to vanish after the first episode. What happened? Many fans theorized that Laris would tie into the larger mystery of Jack Crusher's powers or the changeling infiltration. Some thought she'd be the emotional center of Picard's final journey. Instead, she was barely referenced again. Was Laris just a red herring? A narrative casualty of rewrites? Or was there a deeper backstory that got dropped? With Picard officially concluded, we may never learn her full story. 5. Who are the unknown entities watching the universe? Star Trek, Prodigy. Star Trek, Prodigy may be a show aimed at younger audiences, but its storytelling is anything but simple. In Season 1, the young crew of the Protostar stumble upon hints of a secretive force watching over the galaxy, possibly manipulating events from afar. There are theories. Are they the Preservers? The Metrons? Some new,